graduating without a plan. Hello, what a summer it's been. I haven't seen anybody all summer. Okay. So I haven't made this podcast in over a month, and I take responsibility for that, but I literally have not seen anybody all summer, not just this podcast. So this is the summer of me being stupid. That's what like when I was trying to think of things like, what can I give the update on? What have I been doing? I have just been doing stupid shit all summer. Granted, it's the busiest, most successful, most thriving summer of my life, but I think it's like, you know, always the yin and yang. Like, you're doing good, but you always got to have like that devil on your shoulder that's controversial and freaking things up for you. For example, I'm drinking a Celsius right now. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Should I be drinking it this late in the day? No. Should I be drinking it at all? No. Because, like, it's poison. Like, this stuff, I buy this at Planet Fitness every couple of days now. I don't get it all the time because I don't want to be addicted. I don't want to gain a tolerance for caffeine or whatever other poison is in here, but every so often I get back on the crack and I have a little, and it just feels so good because, like, it gets you sweating and like, yeah, I'm on the Stairmaster, so like, yeah, right? But I drink about a half a can maybe, but sometimes a fourth. Not even always a half. By the way, someone's mowing the lawn right now if you're hearing like some sus background activity, but I drink half a can. I leave it in my car for the next day. The next day I drink it or whatever. For whatever reason, the next day, it tastes like battery acid. Like, literally, well, you can taste the plastic almost as if the plastic has seeped into the drink, which I don't understand how that's happening since, I mean, it's always in a can, but what, now that I've opened the can and the oxygen has been let in, now it's different? I don't really know. Maybe it's because it's sitting in my car overheating, which is also stupid. Like, everybody knows that you should not be leaving like plastic or I guess in this case metal in the car because it will seep into the liquids. I've heard, I don't know, but whatever. The point is, I'm drinking battery acid like consciously, and I'm like, whatever, like, at least I'll get like, I'll hit a PR. Like, shut up. What am I, you know? But keep in mind, these are like the day after that I just drank, I don't know, 15 freaking Surfsides. I'll tell you, this summer, okay, so there's a lot to unpack this summer, actually. There was a span of about 2 weeks where I literally consumed more Surfside iced teas. If you don't know what that is, it's like the new thing right now, right? The Surfsides and the Sun Cruisers. They're like the hard iced teas, but they're not quite twisted teas because they don't have like the same amount of sugar, which is always my downfall. Like, I can't drink sugary stuff because you feel sick before you feel drunk. Does that make sense? And like the hangover is like, oh, and you're not even like hungover because of the alcohol. You're just hungover because you're like, I just consumed like 43 grams of sugar last night, right? Or like more, 100 grams of sugar. So these things, they go down good. You don't have a problem. Like, it's just, they're just so good. So they become my, it's Surfside summer, y'all, right? They've become my lifeline. And of course, when I sing at venues, they all have them now. And 99% of the time, you know, I'm offered free food and drink. So I get free Surfsides. So there was a span of about 2 weeks that I actually consumed more Surfsides than I did water. And that's a fact because I also stopped like consuming food. It was a very weird week, very surreal week. I was hanging out with like the rock stars of my life. Like, I had met some other people. I think I mentioned it last podcast, like about a month ago. I had met some other local musicians, which I never ever had really associated with the local scene before. Not for lack of trying, but just because a lot of the times when, you know, if I'm singing 6 to 9 somewhere and someone else is singing, like, that's usually, there's certain time slots, right? At the wineries, it's 1 to 5. At restaurants, it's 6 to 9 or 7 to 10, right? Like, so we're all singing at the same time, so it's very rare that I actually will like cross paths with other singers in action, and I don't necessarily seek people out. And part of that is maybe because I have a complex, like, not a competitive complex, but I'm kind of like scared of everybody. I'm like, you hate me because we're low-key competition, right? And then they're like, I don't hate you, but I, in my brain, think like, you must hate me. You must hate me. Like everybody on my soccer team in 2017. Like, it's like a complex that has just survived since my days of playing soccer and being ostracized for, I don't know, no reason, just because maybe I was sick or something. So, anyway, whole side note. But what was I saying? Oh, so I've been hanging out with a bunch of rock stars this summer, and they go hard, right? They'd be drinking a lot. They'd be doing other substances, but not in front of me, and I don't do them. But just the simple stuff like staying out late, right? Like stuff that I left behind in about 2022. I left behind staying out late. It came back for a solid 2 weeks. Like me doing stupid shit like saying I was gonna have an early night and then drinking and sleeping at my friend's house and then coming back at 11 a.m. the next, like, when was the last time I did that? When was the last time I had to sleep at a friend's house because I drank? I'm like the DD now. I'm usually the person who stops by and has a water. What am I? So, you know, so I was being like kind of stupid, but I was having a lot of fun. And to be fair, I think I got a little skinny during that time. I put it back on, don't worry. But I put it back on the past 2 weeks now. But for like that spurt of 2 to 3 weeks, I was like skinny, you know, because I was living that rock star life. Like I looked like, you know, like in the 90s, the models, they were like all doing coke, so they were skinny. They were like having a cigarette and doing coke and whatever. That was kind of like what I was doing, you know, so whatever. Sometimes I think I should go back to that lifestyle, start smoking. Maybe I should start smoking. Okay. Have you ever thought maybe I should start smoking cigarettes just to be skinny? Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds productive. I have no nicotine tolerance. And speaking of, okay, number 2 stupid shit I did this summer. I did a Zyn, right? I've done a Zyn before. And my friend, okay. Again, I have no caffeine tolerance, no nicotine tolerance, no really anything tolerance. Because I always said to myself, I never started drinking coffee when I was younger because I said to myself, I never want to be addicted to anything, because I would see people like spend $8 on a cup of coffee every day. And I was like, that sucks, because now you're roped in and you can't get out. You're like addicted, and this is a not for the physical burden, for the financial burden. I did not want to be addicted to anything. So I never did any of that stuff. I consider caffeine a drug, right? Nicotine, I never considered a drug. I thought it was fake. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, the feeling of smoking a cigarette. I'm like, listen, off the books, I've smoked a cig in my life. Like, and when I say smoked, not fully, but you know, I've had a hit or two. I never understood really the quote nicotine high. When people talked about a nicotine high, I was like, okay, you feel cool. Is that your high? I don't know. So when I did the Zyn, I didn't really expect anything. My friend is like, oh, you're going to feel the zingles. Like, you're going to feel a little tingling. I was like, all right, I can get down with that. And this was on Halloween last year. I did this Zyn, and I was already several beers deep, having a great time, dressed up like a bear, and I got the zingles. But I didn't just get the zingles. I like hit the floor. I sat down and was like eyes rolled back type shit. There's pictures of me, eyes rolled back, like sitting there, like on a Zyn. I was taken aback because like I said, didn't expect this to even be a real drug. So fast forward. Now I'm cocky, right? Now I had this bender of a summer. I'm a rock star. Let me try this Zyn. I'm sitting in my neighbor's hot tub. My neighbor has parties all the time. This was the first time he had ever really invited me to it. I'm surrounded by all these people from my childhood school, most of which do not like me. And when I say that, you know, everyone says, oh, like, oh yeah, like, well, I used to work at a restaurant with them. And again, I have this weird thing. It happens at soccer teams. It happens at workplaces. For whatever reason, people just, like, I'm always the person that I'm like the odd one out of the group. In my soccer teams, it was like that, except my one maybe, but on the several soccer teams I've been on, it was always like, I went out of my way to be nice. I would offer to host the pasta parties or whatever. And then all of a sudden, everyone treated me like an idiot and wouldn't talk to me anymore. So that happened at that restaurant as well. Like, I tried to be really nice. I tried to be chill. I'd always take people's shifts if they needed covered. And they just used to hang out all the time and talk shit about me and never invite me. So, I don't know. They don't like me. So, keep in mind, all these people are there. I, as I say all the time, consider alcohol a spiritual drug. So I was like, I don't even know if I should drink in front of these people because I think I'm opening my soul in front of them, which I shouldn't do. But I did. Because I was with two of my friends, we had a really good time, and there was a hot tub. And I was like, well, the only way I'm getting in the hot tub is if I have a shot of tequila, because I'm feeling a little bit, like, nervous, right? I get in the hot tub. My friend's like, here's a Zyn. So I'm thinking, all right, let me do this so that I can really have a good night and not be worried about all these motherfuckers. I almost drowned in the hot tub because my whole body went numb immediately. Like within like 5 minutes maybe, my whole body goes numb. I'm having the time of my life. I'm like, wow, talk about checked out from reality. Like, I understand the appeal, you know? I'm not proud to say that, but I was going through I was having a little bit of a rough couple of days. So I was like, damn, I'm checked out from reality right now. Keep in mind, when you're in a hot tub, you start to feel sick, whether or not you're on a substance. If you're in a hot tub for longer than like 20 minutes, you start to feel a little overheated. You start to feel a little nauseous, right? We've all been there. I was like, I'm gonna yak. So I don't feel bad about pulling trigger. I've said this before. I've probably said this on here. As soon as I got a little grumble in my tummy, I'm pulling trig. And what I mean by that is I'm sticking my hand down my throat. Sorry. And I got out of the hot tub, went to my side of the fence, right? Like I walked around, because this is my neighbor's house. I walked around, went to my side of the fence, pulled trig, threw up. I was like, okay, I think I'm good. I went back, then was like, I gotta go home. My friends and I went home, threw up again. I was like, Then I took a shower, threw up in the shower. I was like, why do I keep throwing up? Because I didn't really feel bad at that point, right? I felt like a little like, ugh, but I don't know. I was just like, why do I keep throwing up? And apparently I told a guy at the gym this the next day, and he was like, that's a cardinal mistake. Like, that's a rookie mistake. Why would you do a Zyn, never mind in a hot tub? Like, you never do substances in a hot tub. Like, you're gonna feel like shit. And right. Meanwhile, he's also telling me, like, you know, to eat protein and, you know, how I could do a sufficient cut and all this stuff, but we're also talking about drugs. So, are we healthy? I don't really know. I felt great, though, the next day, which was interesting. I was singing at a brewery the next day, and my biggest concern always with this stuff, because I've been singing just about every single day these days this summer, is that I am like, I have to be able to sing tomorrow, because I was singing at this big brewery in the area, which is always busy, and I'm on a stage, so it's not just like me in the corner, it's me on a stage. I'm kind of putting on a show. But God bless, I woke up good. In fact, I had a pumpkin ale with a sugar rim, because they started doing that too early, in my opinion. It's still August. September 1st, I think, is the, you know, at least the, you know, what's the minimum time in which pumpkin ale should be allowed. But you know me, like, I am a bitch for a pumpkin ale sugar rim, right? These are so good. Oh, they're so good. I think I'm going to be hype in a couple of minutes. Believe it or not, this is not my hype. This is me just talking, but sponsor me. So Celsius, I guess you could sponsor me at this point. They don't have C4 at My Planet Fitness. I was really a C4 girly for the longest time, and I like went to bat. Like, I got like a hyperfixation. The same way I have with grocery stores and everything else that's weird. I had a hyperfixation on C4s for a little bit, because when I used to work at a beach, the C4 people, their strategy for campaigning and like promotion is so unique. They just go around, literally guys like in shirts that say C4, and they just hand them out to people, which I think is so smart, because I never would have tried a C4, because I was like, I don't know, I've heard that that's like crack-like, and they're like, whatever, well, here's a case of it for free. I was like, oh, okay, because I was working at the beach, so they just gave like the employees like whatever, they just dropped off cases at the beach, and were like, hey, like, you guys are minimum wage workers, you need some energy. So and our group only had like 2 of us working there, so I took a whole case home. So so that was fun. And then like that summer, I just became obsessed with C4. I was like, I should sponsor C4. I ran a triathlon, and then at the triathlon won more C4, and I was like, yeah, like C4. Like, I should have been on the commercial, really, because I was so passionate about C4s. So I guess fuck Celsius. Not fuck Celsius if you want to sponsor me, but you're not gonna. So I love C4. I love you, Pookie. I love you. Send me another case. I think that I should be doing that for my own campaign, because I'm also going to be putting out music, and knock on wood, praise God, I don't want to jinx it, because I've said that like 17 times, and you guys know the lore with the producers, and you guys know the lore with the trouble I've had getting music out, but this time I really think I got it done, because it was not up to me. One of my friends, who I used to work for. I've told you about this guy. He's just so funny. Who I used to like nanny for his family, and then I do the gardening for them and whatever. We're just like this, right? We're just like this. He was like, I want you to put out an album. And I was like, I get it, bro. His name's Pete. I'm like, Pete, like, I want to as well, but like, it's super expensive, and like, I can't find a guy, and like, I don't know what to do. So he's like, that's it, I'm finding the guy. He found the guy in like 2 days. He found the guy. He sends me over to his house. He's like, just go. And I'm like, okay. We put out a banger. We developed a banger in like 5 hours. Like, and when I say 5 hours sounds like a long time, for a full song, like 7-part harmonies, like instrumentals, like the whole, he mixed the whole thing in front. He's like a wizard, this guy. He's just sitting there like, hold on, it's like blah, 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 working so fast. I was like, oh my gosh, did we make a song finally? Did this song too? It's called, okay, I'll give you the scoop for anyone listening. The song is called Bob and Joan. It's like a reference to Bob Dylan and Joan Baez. And if you like my music, I think you're going to love it, because it's my music just elevated. Because my stuff that's been out so far, the big complaint is just that I sound better live. Like that the quality is pretty low, you know, because I recorded it myself when I was like 18 and 19, and I know nothing about mixing, and I know nothing about mastering, and I just kind of sent it and tried, you know, and granted, like I always say, I can appreciate the homegrown effort, and I am not upset about that phase of my music journey, but it was time to elevate, right? And I think that this production just elevated the fuck out of it. And everybody I've showed it to, which is like 2 people, which is the guy Pete, who sent me to the guy, my friend who is there, we like literally, we all, like I cried when I first heard it, which sounds really cheesy, but I just, something about, as an artist, and anyone who's an artist knows, there were so many layers to this, but as an artist, when you get creative, like this is gonna sound so cheesy, when you get creative, it's kind of like, it's almost, I can equate it to when you meet someone for the first time, when you go on a first date, and you feel this spark with them, right? And now all of a sudden it kind of takes over your thoughts, and you can't wait for the next date, and you're already thinking about the next date. And then on the next date, now you're thinking about the future, and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe this is the one. That like excitement of like what could be. And the only thing that really, it doesn't necessarily get satiated, but there are moments where you feel like your brain is scratched with it, like, and it's only with being with that person. Right? So all week you're thinking about it until you see that person, and the feeling of connecting with that person feels so emotional. Does that make sense? I don't know if this makes sense, but so for me, when like songs, they feel like that, and I have never yet been able to quote meet that person, right? Like I've tried, you know, I've maybe called that person with the recordings I have already, but I never quite got the song that was in my brain into an actual recording. I was never able, I didn't have the skill and the talent in terms of mixing to translate my thoughts to an actual recording. So it was like, when I heard it, it was like me finally getting to make out with that crush of mine. Like it just felt like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, you know, it felt so good. And I cried, like it hit something in my chest that made me cry. And then that feeling kind of translated to just this extreme gratitude of, one, that I have so many people supporting me right now, like on TikTok and in my life, like, and, you know, I've been getting a lot of people calling for gigs and who clearly like what I do. And then I have this guy who went out of his way to find this producer for me. My friend who came to do the recordings with me just to be there as moral support. And just knowing that you have so many people that believe in you. And I don't think that any of those people would give their time and give their money or give their, like, whatever to me unless they felt that it was really it was like a worthy investment, right, of their time and effort. And so something was so humbling, but there's so much gratitude and love in my heart about it. And I'm just so excited, guys. Like, and you saw me cry last episode, so kind of in the same way, like the gratitude of what things have come to at this point. And I'm just so excited because I think it really sounds like me, and you're gonna feel it in your chest. Like, I don't even want you to hear it. I want you to feel it, the song, and I think you will if you hear it. So that was the one not stupid thing I've done this summer. So that was actually kind of fun. That's been fun. What else have I done? I wrote a list of stupid things. Oh, I texted my ex on his birthday. Okay, so this was all in the span of like a week. So I texted my ex on his birthday. Okay, can I explain? We broke up 7 years ago. Okay. So some of you may know the Tennessee ex from the Tennessee Tinder love story, right? It didn't end well, really. I mean, but I don't even really know what happened with it. But I had this thing with him that I always said to him, like, his birthday's in August, and he was at my house on August. Like, he was at my house in New York on his birthday in, like, 2018. I think he turned 21. And so we have pictures of with each other on his birthday from 2018. So in the beginning, we used to send every year, or the first year after we had broken up, we were kind of still friends and whatever. So I sent him that picture saying, like, happy birthday, like a picture of us on his birthday last year saying happy birthday. And then I kind of made a joke and I said, I'm going to continue doing this forever, whether or not unless I'm dead or in jail. And he was like, LOL, okay. And we had talked a bit, right? Over the years, like, there have been times where we've, like, weaved in and out, we've spoken. We're on, like, what I considered relatively good terms, sometimes better than others. You know, there were phases where we were not on good terms, but in more recent years, I considered us on good terms, right? So every year, because I'm not dead or in jail, send him a copy of the photo and say, happy birthday. I think people would think I'm crazy for that, and I think I am too. And he hasn't answered in the past 2 years. And I still did it. I don't know. I made a promise and I kept it, right? I didn't really expect him to answer. He's probably, like, how old is he now? He's like, I think he just turned 27. That's old. I dated him when we were 18. So he could be theoretically married or engaged or, like, in a serious relationship at least, which may be why he didn't answer, or maybe he's just a dick, or maybe he is dead or in jail, right? So I don't know. I don't really care. I'm going to keep sending the text forever, but I'll tell you, like, this was the first time I did it and was like, am I stupid? Was that dumb? Like, I think that was dumb. But I think it was also because I was coming off the wave of embarrassment, right? Because the day before, you guys know Mikey Marin? Okay, let me dive in. Let me give a little background. So there's this guy who owns a pizza place right by my house. Like, it's 10 minutes from my house. My grandparents go there all the time. It's like, actually, like, a family restaurant for me. Like, when I was younger, I used to go there with my family. It's just generally, the place is called Carnival, right? It's an Italian place, naturally. It's been a family restaurant, like, for my family for years. Not long ago, about a year ago, I see this TikTok of this guy making pizza. And he's, like, a handsome motherfucker, and he's making pizza, and he's viral, and he has, like, 100,000 followers. And it turns out it's the son of the owner of that restaurant, of Carnival. So I was like, oh my gosh, right? I was all excited, so I follow him naturally. And then he started doing things like late night live streams of, like, battles and stuff. And, like, when I see him, I'll, like, go and I'll tap. Because I'm like, let's support a local. Like, this is just so fun that he's, like, just a local guy. But then that kind of turned into, like, me being a genuine fan. Like, whenever he was live, I was like, oh my gosh, Mikey, right? right? Like, I don't even comment. I'm just kind of like one of those ghosts who comes in, I like send my likes, I do my thing, and I leave, you know, I like his recent post and whatever. So, but it really came from, like, I think most of the people follow him like in a, like, they're like, oh, he's so hot. Like, the comments on the video are so funny. But I really just follow him because he's like a local guy and I thought it was so funny, right? So, with that being said, recently, I was in the gym. I was in Planet Fitness where I am most of the time. And he was there. I see Mikey Marinara. And so I went up to him. I was like, Mikey Marinara? And he was like, yeah, you know. I froze. Because keep in mind, I had just drank one of these. So I was quaking a little to begin with. And now I'm nervous because I'm going up to this guy who obviously doesn't know me. I don't know if he really wants to be approached. Like, I don't know if he's chill. I assumed he was chill. But, you know, he might just be like, what the fuck? And also, I had like a bun on the top of my head. I'm in like a big t-shirt baggy. Like, it was not my cutest moment. But he was really nice and he like said nice things. I don't even know. I kind of blacked out because when I'm in situations like that, as we know, like when I meet what I consider a celebrity or when I meet anybody who, whatever, I like black out. I get so nervous. Because I had a lot of things that I kind of wanted to say, like be like, oh, my grandparents love your place. They're there. You might see my 93-year-old grandpa's there like once a week with his girlfriend, right? So, but he just, you know, spoke and I blacked out. So, very pleasant guy. Very pleasant guy. I go home. I tell my grandpa, naturally. I said, guess who I ran into today? Mikey Marinara. Because I explained to him kind of like the situation because he knows TikTok a little bit because he knows that I'm on it and whatever. And he was like, oh, that's so funny. I'll have to say hello to him next time I go. So naturally, the next week, because he was there every week, he said, I think him and his girl said, you know, oh, are you the kid from TikTok? And I think he was a little taken aback because a 93-year-old being like, are you on TikTok? I think was not expected. So apparently they talked and whatever. And my grandpa said, my granddaughter met you in the gym. And he was like, oh, I remember that, whatever. Alleged. We don't know if he really remembered. He might have just been nice. But, and I was happy about it. Like, I was flattered. But I was a little nervous because I was like, well, now he knows I was talking about it, right? So, that makes me look a little simpy. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. I think it's cute. I think it's flattering. But I'm like, that's a little embarrassing, Grandpa. Why did you have to do that? Yeah, so my grandpa wants me to go to this restaurant and say hello. Like, he's like, you should come with us on, because he always invites me to lunch anyway, and I always want to go. But a lot of times they go, at times I can't go, and it is kind of their time, so I don't like to, like, impede. But that's not where it gets bad, right? So that's part one. A couple days after that, I was on live stream with my TikTokers, and it happened to be a day where there was like 700 people on the live, which was like, right, amazing. I was having so much fun. We were vibing. And I brought that thing up, and I was like, LOL, like, I want to sing at Carnival, like, his restaurant, because they have a big restaurant, Mikey's restaurant. I was like, I would love to sing at Carnival, like, it's tag Mikey, right, like, the local guy, right? Because also, part of me was like, I wish he would pop into my life sometime, like, maybe follow me, you know? So I was like, tag Mikey in the live, right? So I kind of asked for it, right? Like, well, I did. I asked for it, but I didn't really think it through because all of a sudden, like, you know, like 100 people had sent him the live, which if he opened it would have been cool, but he never popped out. So then it made me feel a little dumb. I was like, did I just harass him and he didn't bite, you know? And then my girl Heather called the restaurant, who is from TikTok. She called the restaurant, being like, do you guys do live music? And they were like, no, like, we don't. Because they don't. And then she was like, okay. And then someone else, I forgot who, like, comments on his page, like, hey, Emy wants to sing at your restaurant, or whatever. And I was like, oh, because now, I was happy that you guys tagged him. Because I thought it was so funny and cool. And you guys have made so much happen for me. Like the Cody Simpson video, like now I believe in you guys so much because that squad is loyal and people love to make dreams happen, right? So, I don't know, I just believed in us, but then I was embarrassed, right? Because then I was like, wait. Like, because if he had responded it would have been like, LOL, that's so funny, we did it, and he was cool about it. But because he didn't, I was like, does he think I'm crazy? You know what I mean? Like, did he just think I stalked him and it was crazy? So I just felt a little embarrassed and dumb. And that was that, you know? I just felt a little embarrassed. So that was that. So yeah, so I texted my ex. I embarrassed myself in Maggie Marinara, which is not new. I always embarrass myself in front of people who I meet as, quote, celebrities or whatever. What else did I do? Okay, this was something else. Do you ever talk to people in the gym and then they name drop that, or they like casually drop that they have a girlfriend and then you feel stupid? That happened to me a lot these past couple of weeks. I go in the gym friendly. I go in the gym ugly. Because, I'm thinking of the gym since I ran into him in the gym, right? I literally go in the gym so ugly. I wish I dressed cute. I need to get a cute suit. I've been saying it forever. And I also need to, like, do my hair. I don't even do my hair now. I have apple cider vinegar in my hair as we speak. I rinsed it, but it's still, like, a little slicked down to my... It smells fine. It doesn't smell like apple cider vinegar, but it's, like, slicked down to my head because there's obviously some crazy product in here. But you know what? Beauty is pain. So I go to the gym, and I always say, like, I want to make friends in the gym. I never have yet. I go out of my way to, well, I don't go out of my way, but I go out of my way to, say, talk to the people at the front desk because they're really nice. And, like, the other day, like, this one guy who I see all the time, and he smiles at me all the time, and he's always like, hey, Emy, like, how are you? Which I think is an invitation to talk, right? Because it's not just like the, have a good workout, right? Sometimes they're like, have a good workout. Okay, that's not an invitation to talk. But, like, the, hey, Emy, like, how are you doing? Is an invitation to speak, right? So I go over, so I'm passionate, this is falling out. So I go over, you know, and I start talking to this guy who's very nice, but he's looking a little like darty, right? He's looking like, and then somehow he just brings up, oh yeah, my girlfriend. I was like, okay, like, cute, you have a girlfriend, but like, am I like missing the cue, a social cue that you're trying to not talk to me because you have a girlfriend? Or am I coming off as flirty? Or is me interacting with you coming off as flirty? Like, I feel really bad for men because I run into this a lot because, one, I'm an idiot, right? I also just consider myself kind of nice, I hope, and I'm very chatty, but I think that it may sometimes come off as like I'm flirting with somebody. Maybe I am, right? I'm a flirty girl. I think flirting's all fun and game, right? I flirt with everyone and their mother. But a lot of the times I'm just trying to like hang out and be nice and talk, and like I actually want to get to know people and interact. But I think that I'm missing social cues because people sometimes are like, oh, I'm dating somebody. Like, are men so deprived from affection that when a girl's nice to them, they actually assume they must be flirting with me because otherwise a girl would not be nice to me? That's sad. I feel bad for men. Like, I actually feel bad for men. Like, why don't we treat men better? Why aren't we nicer to them? Like, nothing is worse than when you go up to someone and talk, like, at a bar, and you're, like, making a joke or whatever, like, as you're getting a drink or something, and they're like, oh, yeah, I have a boyfriend. Fuck you. I don't want you, girl. You know? Or when a guy does that, too. When a guy's like, I have a girlfriend. Okay. Like, is my tongue down your throat? Like, I do not care. I am not 90, and this is the thing. You realize in your life, there are a lot of people you flirt with. There are a lot of people, like, you'd be like, maybe I'd kiss, maybe I'd whatever. But when it really comes down to it, would you? Would you? Like, sorry, I'm 99% of people I don't actually want. I would never actually. I don't want, right? So I just think that we should be nicer to men so that they're nicer to us. And that they don't think we're trying to date them every single time that we say hello. Right? Like, it's dripping down my face. But the same goes for girls. Stop saying you have a boyfriend. I don't care. I didn't ask. Really. I didn't ask. I mean, if someone asks, if someone says, hey, like, you're cute. Like, do you have a boyfriend? Yeah, I do. But, hey, like, do you mind moving over? Like, I have a boyfriend. Shut the... Sorry. So that's that. That's that. So what's worse than texting my ex? At least it's that ex, right? No, he was terrible. Well, he wasn't terrible when I dated him. He was chill when I dated him, but like, he was really mean when we broke up. I did that whole rant about him a couple episodes like ago. My other exes, like, there's only one ex that I wouldn't text on their birthday, actually, and it's my most recent one, because I hate him. Like, I don't hate him. I feel badly for, but do I feel bad for him? He was just a mean guy. He was just a really mean guy, but, which I've come to terms with more and more as the year has gone on, the years have gone on since dating him about 2 years ago, which I don't even like to admit, because, ew, God, but he was mean, kind of, to me. Like, he did not treat me nice. But, and it's funny because, like, I actually, like, I literally, in the beginning, was like, should I put a hex on him? This was before I was into Christianity, so I was like, should I put a hex on him? Then I realized hexes are really bad, and we shouldn't even be talking about witchcraft, but whatever. I think that there was a hex on me as a young person. Can I actually get into this? I've had 2 hexes put on me in my life. So the first, okay, should I say the first one? This is just interesting. The first one, I will never forget. I was about 9 years old, and I was walking in Central Park with my parents. Life was really good up until I was about 9. Keep this in mind. And because if you don't know any background, when I was about 11 or 12, I developed PANS, my autoimmune problem, which led to all my fucking issues. Everything wrong with me was from that. And I had a great life up until, like, my whole life. I was a really happy kid. I was cute. I was fun. I was athletic. I was funny. Like, I had a really good childhood for that time. And then I was in Central Park, and I remember this guy walking around with headphones, like, saying, like, some snake. He was doing, like, what you consider speaking in tongues, but clearly satanic. Like, he was, like doing whatever. And I remember walking and him making, like, direct eye contact with me and, like, locking eyes with me for a second and doing this thing, and me going, whoa. And my dad, like, grabbing me, like, don't look at that guy. Like, he's just, like, cracked out. Like, you know, he was probably on drugs or something. Like, stay away from him. And but I never forgot it. You know, I felt in that moment, I was like, whoa, did he just, like, curse me or something? And then, coincidentally, everything fell to shit. Like, I got an autoimmune problem. 7 members of my family died in 1 year following. 7 members, like, of my family. Not my immediate family, obviously, like my cousin, like cousins or aunts or uncles or whatever died. And from all different causes. And yeah, and things just fell to shit. And it wasn't until much later on then when I was 17, I dated this guy who, after we broke up, took up Satanism for a short time. And all these crazy things started happening again. Like, I was like, things are just not right. And I had a teacher who was very religious. She was very Catholic or Christian or whatever. And she was like, you have a hex put on you. But this was before I even told her that my ex was practicing Satanism. And she was like, something's wrong. Like, there's a hex. Someone's wishing bad energy towards you. And I said, well, the guy I just broke up with, like, he took up Satanism. And she was like, you know, she wigged. And she literally, like, did a full exorcism. Like, she literally put her hands on my head and was like, in the name of Jesus. Like, she went crazy. But it did get better. So, whatever. I think a hex is on me. Or was on me. I hope it's not anymore. I hope people aren't wishing bad for me. I don't think there's anyone who would wish bad for me. I wish bad for people. No, no, I don't. Even that ex who I hate, I've always joked about it. Like, he's maybe the one that if I were to put a hex on, I would put it on him. And my dad doesn't understand that. Like, I remember once saying to my dad, like, shortly after we broke up, I was like, I wish he would get hit by a fucking bus. And my dad was like, don't wish bad on people. That's terrible. Like, to wish death on someone. And I'm like, but I fucking mean it. Like, why am I not allowed to wish my ex got hit by a bus? And my sister took my back on this, which is funny because she's like, or like, prim and proper, she's like, Dad, you don't understand trauma and you don't understand relational abuse, because if you did, you would understand what a manipulative fuck he was and you would want him hit by a bus too. I was like, go up, Lauren. Go up, sister, right? So all I'm saying is I'm justifying that. Anyway, I made a list. What else? So I texted my ex, Mikey Marinara. talking to people I have a girlfriend, drinking Surfsides, taking us into the hot tub. Oh, eating cheese. That's the last thing I have for stupid stuff I've done this summer. I've been eating, every time I go to a restaurant that I am getting free food at, I eat the cheese. And everybody knows I'm lactose intolerant, including myself. My stomach has hurt so bad all summer. I swear, any bloat that I have, I think would be gone if I took up veganism again. I think it would, but I just don't care. I just don't care anymore, right? Like, I don't know, whatever. My friend's engagement party is tomorrow. I'm so excited. My best friend, Michelle, as you've seen her on this podcast and her own podcast, Laugh Often with Michelle. Her engagement party is tomorrow, and I'm just so excited. But it's going to be an Italian place, and they're going to have cheese on everything, I'm sure. So I'm, like, trying to do a cleanse today, which is why I did my hair mask, I did a face mask, I did all this stuff. I'm looking tan. I shaved my legs. But I'm going to have to take a Lactaid. I'm going to have to wear a loose dress, or a dress that at least has a belt that's loosenable. That, I think, will be the last stupid thing I do this summer, because the sleep deprivation, the alcohol, the whatever, I already talked to my pastor about it. I said to her, I'm like, I'm locking in for the fall. I'm going to be here every week, not even on Sundays. Like, I mean, I'll be here for Bible study on Monday every week again, because I was really on it, like, last year. September, I'm locking in. You guys are not even going to recognize me. I'm going to talk to my little gym trainer at Planet Fitness, Nikki, bro. Shout out, Nikki, bro. And I'm going to get off the crack. Okay, can we say it right here, right now, just to end the episode? Next time you see me, which, oh yeah, because September's in like a week. So hopefully you'll see me before a month. Because also the summer's been busy, which is why I took kind of a break from this. But I'll be back. Also, I'm going to be promoting the album. So I'll be back. But this is where I'm going to be the next time you see me. Skinny. I'm cutting out Surfsides. After I finish the case, I have 1 week to finish the case in my car right now. So after I finish that case, no more Surfsides, no more energy drinks, no more nicotine pouches from delinquents in a hot tub. I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to be at church every Sunday. I'm going to be at church every Monday night for a Bible study, hanging out with my pastor and her wife. And what's another goal? I'm going to stop doing stupid shit. I'm going to stop texting my ex. You know what, Matt? Sorry, you're not getting a birthday text next year. Unless. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see how I feel next year. And what else? Anything else? Next time you see me, I'll have already met Mikey Marinara in Carnival. Okay. All right, guys. So have a great rest of your whatever day it is or night you're listening to this. And I'll see you shortly. Can you guys keep me on this? Thank you. Okay. Can't wait for you guys to hear the song Bob and Joan by Emy McB out soon. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Bye.